Hello guys, this is Alvin from the shop in downtown Pomona, bringing you another deck profile featuring the new Luffy leader from the new starter deck that just released August 16th. So I decided to play this leader because it's a new tower deck of the game. We took it to a 17-man local at Collectible Exchange and I took first place. To be fair, I did have a bye in the first round, but we still played against Nami in the last round and we still managed to take the whole tournament. This deck is fairly affordable to play. Even though it's a black deck, it is not an 8-cost Gecko Warrior deck. I do have it in the deck, but I will tell you it's not needed. So you could be playing this on a budget with just a starter deck. I feel like this deck could definitely be played with everything that comes out in it, but there can be some upgrades you can make, and I'll get to that while discussing the deck profile. So this is the leader, 382Y Black Luffy. His rec reads Dawn ×1. While you have Dawn ×1, all your characters get +1 cost to their costs, which is really good because it makes it harder for your opponent to deal with. And some cards gain bonus effects based on the cost of your characters. It reads an additional effect where if you have an 8 cost or higher character, he gets +1k until you lose that character. The effect does not stack, so if you have more than one, he does not gain an additional 1k. It's just as long as you have one big character, he gets additional stat. And then going into the deck list, this is from the starter. We're playing 4 Duendes.
3, 2, 1. É show. Solta o play, DJ.
This card is mainly used as a 2k counter, but there are times where you play this off a Gecko, or if you already have a high cost character, you can put this into play and use it to filter out your hand. Plus, it also gives additional cost to your characters, which lasts until the beginning of your next turn. Following that, we have 4 Surus. It's arguably the best black 2k counter in the game. It's essentially black's version of Red Otama. Almost every single black deck plays this card. Don't think there needs to be anything else said about it, outside of it being really efficient for being a 1 cost. Following that, we play 4 Tashigis. This is the last card that we have for 2Ks, so we're playing a total of 12 2Ks. This card gives you additional -2, because we don't really play too many reductions in this deck, outside of the first 2 we just mentioned. It's not searchable. You're probably gonna hard play this card a lot, or sometimes play it off a Gecko. After that, we have the first SR of the starter deck, playing 4 Namis. This card reads blocker, and then on play, if you have an 8 cost character and you have less than 6 cards in your hand, or 6 or less, you're allowed to draw 1 card. I don't think this card should be at 4, but we're playing 4 because right now there's nothing else better to play. Going forward, once the new Navy cards come out in 8.5, meaning like the starters and some of the promotional cards, his deck will definitely change. Following that, we have the Us Ops. During the tournament, I only played 2 of these, but afterward, I decided to put it up to 4. This card's definitely really strong, and he clears a lot of bodies on the board. If you have the protection to go with this, as long as your characters are big, your opponents can have a really hard time setting up a board. Next up, we have the second SR of the deck, the 5 cost Sanji. It reads, on play, if you have a 6 cost or higher character, you can KO any 5 cost or less. I think this card is really strong. It's like a better Sakazuki, but pretty much very limited to what deck it can be used in, because you have to have a 6 cost or character or higher. I believe this is the only deck that could be where the Sanji can be played on curve to KO a 5 or less, which is really important. Next up, we have Robin. I think this card is really crazy, probably the best card in the whole deck. It reads, on play, and when attacking, if you have an 8 cost or higher character, it gives anything -5. And it starts at 7, so it hits the magic number without having to down up. And we hit good black cards. We're playing 3 Rebekahs. This is good for recursion, and it's the target for our Gecko Moria. And following that, we have another black staple. We're playing 3 Sabos. You could play this at 4. I preferred it at 3 because of space, and also because it felt like since we have Rebekah in the deck, we can just keep adding it back with Rebekah to solidify our board. And we have the next big card, 4 Gecko Moria. There's not too much to be played with this card, but because it's an 8 cost and it gives us possibly Rebekah, a Nami, or the Duende, you can get some value back. And also he fits our leader's requirement of having an 8 cost to boost him to 6. And we're playing 2 8 Luffy. This card becomes a 10 cost when you play it while you have the leader and the stage on the board, which means he has Rush anytime you play him. I think it's really strong because it starts at 10 and it comes out earlier than Rush Ace. You definitely only need to, if you want to play more, you can. Black having a rush, I think, is really strong. Following that, we're playing 4 stages. Stage is pretty much upstart. It's an on-play, draw card, and as long as it's on your side, all your black straw hats get +1 to their cost, which goes with our leader, giving all of our characters +2 cost. Next up, we're playing 4. I have my crew. This card is essentially another upstart goblin that reads, draw 1 card, and your character gets +3 to their cost until your end of your opponent's turn. That helps us get to our boosted costs on the characters, and also cycle through our decks. And the last, we're playing this really long name of a card, I don't know. It reads, Gum Gum, Diable 3-sword style, Mutton Jet 600-pound Phoenix Cannon. It's Black's version of Houndblaze. We get +3 to our characters, and then if we have an 8 cost or higher, you can KO a 2 cost or less on your opponent's side. The trigger's okay, but it's mainly like a late game trigger, so it's never happening. So in this part of the video, we're talking about the card choices, some combos, some cards I would replace. You could replace these 2. I still actually like the Duende because he gives us a cycle. It's 2k, and we just get it back off of Gecko if you're still planning on playing Gecko. The Tashigi, like I said, can be replaced with literally almost any other better 2k, but because I like to have minusing in our deck, I feel like this card's really good. So, and it's also a target we can add back as Rebecca. Now, like I said, our removal is usually just Usopp and the Sanji. When we have something like the stage, this helps us get our characters to 8. So if we have this on the board and our lead effect is live, Sanji is a 7 cost, and then this could put him to 10. And then Usopp becomes live, and then we have stuff like Robin. While Robin's on the board, you can essentially pop any 9 cost or a 10 cost just because she's on the board. And our little Gecko combo, it's just really simple. Most of the time when you're grabbing Gecko, you're grabbing Rebecca, and you're grabbing Duende. You can play Duende active. I usually play active and then put this rested because you'd end up attacking anyways, but I want to make sure I cycle the card. Rebecca usually can add Nami, which Nami will then net us another card, and you can use Duende to give +2 the Nami, which, you know, making a higher cost. So if they have to attack it, because they can't just remove it if it's too high of a cost. And then since Geckos are 8 costs, this card lets us draw a card and discard a card. Definitely, if you don't want to play Gecko, I think Isho's definitely a lot better. He fits the 2 cost event a lot better, and he also lets us touch our opponent's hands. You can also play the Corona 2k from the Gecko Moria deck, and the card's also a really good substitute for the Tashigi. It also gives us reduction for 4 Dawn, but it's a -3, or we can just discard a card from their hand. So in this segment of the video, we're going to be talking about my matchups for that day. I did say we started off with a round 1 bye, and then the second round we played against Rob Lucci. He couldn't clear most of our cards because they were too high cost, or they were under the protection of Sapa, which eventually led to us winning the game because we outvalued him with Rush Luffy and playing Geckos. In the third round, I played against a Blue Doflamingo, which kind of went the same way. I won the dice roll, I went first. He curved Jinbei and another body, but I was able to clear it with a Sanji play, following another Sanji after that. And once we got into our Usopps and our 8 costs, couldn't clear anything with his Raging Tiger because they're also all too high of a cost. So Raging Tiger could only bottom deck 2 6 costs, but most of the time my characters were 7 and higher. And then in the final round, we played against Nami, which the Nami player I definitely think should have won if he played a little more conservative, but we won through playing a bunch of big bodies on our board. If you've made it to this part of the video, we'd like to thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. We do have a Discord you can join where we post exclusive deals, talk about our decks, One Piece, Pokemon, all of our trade-ins, and there's also an Instagram you can follow. The link to our Discord is also there. We do have a shop as well online. You can find it at 3-bitgames.com. Let us know if there's anything you'd like to see from us in the upcoming future, because we also got more deck profiles lined up and a whole lot more content coming to you. Thank you for watching.